Thank you. So the Level Up series is being conducted by the mentors of the Jito Mentorship Program. Jito Mentorship Program is one of the several initiatives of Jito Professional Forum. It's a pro bono initiative open for all Jain professionals. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Prashant Jain, Vice President of Jito Professional Forum and Managing Director of GE Power, to give us an introduction of Jito and JPF. Welcome, sir.
Hi, very good evening, everyone. Jai Jinendra. It is my pleasure to introduce Jito and a privilege to be a part of this Jito Professional Forum. Very quickly about Jito. Jito is one of the unique bodies, a professional body, which is focused towards all Jains. It is not only Shwetambar, Digambar, but all sects of Jains. And it is not a religious forum, but a professional forum that is focused on empowerment, education, and seva. That is what inspires me about Jito. Moving on to the next slide. It is also a professional organization. To give you an example, Jito has empaneled KPMG to make the organization more professional, more robust, and more global. As any large organization, Jito has 14,000 plus members globally. It is now present in more than 67 chapters and 11 international chapters, more recent chapters being in the Middle East. It is present in all the continents in the world. The interesting thing about Jito is the focus on education, empowerment, and seva. It is a very powerful body. Jito is financed by the members. So the membership fees to be a member, a patron member, is 200,000 rupees. Or then we have a chief patron and other members, which is 11 lakh, 15 lakh plus. The membership in some forums is even up to the tune of 1.5 crore rupees. So Jito is a group of professionals or entrepreneurs or traders who have come together with a will to contribute to the society and to give back to the society and to create a platform which is a very empowering platform. Now, so far, till about few years ago, Jito was focused towards traders, but now the focus has come towards professional, and Jito Professional Forum has taken place. So there are some very interesting activities happening in Jito. One is JATF, which is investment fund or for startups. Jito Innovation Incubation Forum, where we incubate startups. There is this Jito Center for Excellence, where we educate, train technical skills and functional skills for employees. There is Shraman Arogyam. There are so many programs in healthcare and so on and so forth. There is also the IS education program. The list goes on and on with the several programs. Today we are here about JPF, Jito Professional Forum. Moving to the next slide. So Jito Professional Forum is the transformation where Jito realized that the reflection of Jain society, where there are several Jain professionals who are now also becoming corporate successful global professionals. So how do we connect the corporate salaried professionals or practicing professionals like advocates, doctors, chartered accountants, and give them a platform? So Jito Professional Forum is bringing the corporate professionals and the practicing professionals a voice. The interesting part about Jito Professional Forum is, unlike Jito, this is open for all professionals to join, contribute, and uplift the global professionals and bring them a platform. I believe this is a unique platform, and the vision is to create facilitate opportunities for both Jito professionals and via the professionals to Jito community members and to Jain community as large. And the mission is to connect 100,000 plus Jain professionals worldwide, and starting with about what we have realized is there are more than 100,000 professionals in global top corporates worldwide who have accomplished great positions in their career. So the mission is to connect them and to use their knowledge, competence to do good to the society. So that's about JPF. Moving on to the next slide, we talk about the initiatives by JPF. So we have the Wisdom series, where we have got the equity market, we have got Amul chairman, we have used our doctor network to run the COVID program, 19 per 21, So it was a very successful COVID support program launched by Jito professionals in the time of COVID crisis. Moving on to the next slide, there are some other flagship programs like the empowering the global doctors, empowering the doctors towards research, the Jito COVID helpline I mentioned in the last slide, and also connecting the tax professionals, banking professionals, and creating topics which are very useful for Jito community and Jain community at large, like faceless tax assessments, etc. There are some other interesting programs that you see on the next slide, which is the iBox, where we provide opportunity for accomplished professionals to share their knowledge, competence. We have got the JPF, the networking program, where we are connecting not only with the India chapter, but the US chapter, and the Level Up series, which is the context of today, where we provide the opportunity for the mentors to give back to the community, to the society, and to the JPF invitee members. So this is briefly about JPF. Moving forward, we talk about the mentorship program. And I would hand over to Preeti and Vishal to take the program forward. And I am very excited with what we are doing here as professionals in this program. And I encourage you to share the word and give back to the society and use this opportunity to give back to the society. Jai Jinendra, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So before we begin, I would like to inform the audience that our session today is a group mentoring session. It will be followed by a small introduction of Jito mentorship program and Jito jobs, post which we'll have a Q&A with the panel. You can post your questions in the chat box while the session is going on. Our formal program will end by 8:30 p.m. IST, post which the team and mentors would still be live for another 10 to 15 minutes in case there are any unanswered questions that remain yet. So today, third session is aimed at learning about some powerful ways to grow in our career. It has certainly been harder to overcome networking barriers during the pandemic. The session will be taken by Mr. Sachin Jain, who has been a passionate mentor and a strong supporter of the Jito mentorship program. He is currently a senior director, talent acquisition at PepsiCo. He has 17 years of experience across employee engagement and cultural transformation in multiple geographies. He's an alumnus of Accelerate Jamshedpur. Further, upon Sachinji's poll, we are conducting a short poll. We would like to know a little bit about our audience before we begin. So please answer the questions through the options given in the pop-up box. Just in case it is not visible automatically, please click on the button that might be appearing on the top left corner of your screens. So the questions are, how many years of work experience do you have? And I see the responses coming in. The second question is, how satisfied are you with your current job? Yeah, so we have 100% answered, 33 of 33. No, still have.
So I think it stopped moving. I will just end the poll.
Yeah.
These are the results which should be visible.
Yeah, so the maximum we see is in 10 to 20 years of experience. And on the satisfaction side, we see more or less neutral and very satisfied.
Okay.
We do have 18% of chunk in very dissatisfied bracket as well.
Right.
Okay.
So Preeti, let's find
out.
All
right. So for the third question, So for the third question we have is, what is the biggest challenge you are facing in choosing a career option or advancing to a new level? So we have this Mentimeter link pasted in the chat box. We would request everyone to just click that and put in your responses there. Sushma, would we see that word cloud coming on the screen? Or is
Yes.
there anything I need to do?
No, you would not need to do anything.
Okay.
Only 3 people have responded.
Okay.
Just requesting people to respond.
We request everyone to please participate.
Preeti, the Mentimeter link seems to be about feedback on the program.
So the people are, just try, please.
So the feedback that I just heard is that the question is about feedback of the program.
No, link got changed actually. So actually the slide got changed maybe. Earlier it was about the keywords. Now it changed to feedback about the program. Now it has changed. Now everybody can fill the survey.
Yeah. Requesting everyone to please participate. Okay. We do see a lot of less opportunity, market getting stagnant, motivation, comfort zone issue, not enough opportunities. I think opportunities is a big one. There's opportunity again. Okay. Less opportunity becomes a prominent one. Market getting stagnant. All right. Don't know what I want. Saturation. Hit the ceiling. Okay. Navigating organization. Too much on the plate. So I see like 2 or 3 coming out, very prominent ones here around the less opportunity, market getting stagnant. Request our panels to please take a note of the keywords. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So I think more or less it stays here. Okay, advanced degree. I'm just reading out the new ones that I'm seeing coming up. Growing profession, not there already 14 years. Yeah, motivation again. All right, so I think this gives us good sense. Work authorization becomes a prominent one here again.
So I think we can proceed.
All right. Sure. All right, so without any further delay, let's begin. And over to you, Sachin ji.
Thanks, Preeti. Would someone present the slides or should I present? I'm okay with either.
You may go ahead. You may go ahead, Sachin ji.
I cannot present. Host has disabled participant screen sharing. So,
okay.
But time the slides come up, just a minor correction. I'm part of talent management right now, not acquisition. Though these are very, adjacent areas, and for everyone else, I'm part of HR, broader HR. That is what I can say. But let's let the slide come up, and then I'll share with you my thoughts on how to build a career within an organization. We do have after that a panel where Vishal and Monica would join me in answering questions that all of you may have. And as I speak or as I present my slides, I'll keep in mind the feedback that has come in around opportunity and would provide my thoughts on the same.
So I am presenting your slides, Sachin, if you're able to see this.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Preeti. Yeah, so, just to make it simple and effective, we debated between Vishal, me and Monica, and we came to a conclusion that there are 5 key factors which we believe define or provide a leg up to your career within. And I'll define each one of them. One is continuous performance. Continuous, when I say performance, it's what you were hired for, what is your objective of the day, what were you asked to deliver, and are you delivering that day in, day out? I delivered something last year does not mean that I'll be successful this year. So every day, every quarter, every year, whatever is the method is followed in your organization, you have to deliver outstanding results. That's a given. That's why you are hired. That's why you get paid. And that becomes the core or the base of your career progression in any organization. Second key factor is capability, which is technical and soft skill. And again, I have one slide each on each of these 5, so we'll talk in detail. But capability, whether it's your technical expertise in the area that you are hired, whether you are in HR, whether you are in finance, whether you are in a specialized function, what is your job? Are you technically sound, and are you upgrading those skill sets on a continuous basis? And what's your soft skill? And we'll talk more about soft skills, but soft skills are much more important in my head versus technical skills. Technical skills are learned. All of us learn them through degrees, courses, our education. But soft skills are something that you practice and ingrain over a period of time. So those are more important. The third key part, I would say, is varied experiences. Again, we'll talk about it a little more later. But experiences which may not be in the same area. So, for instance, I can talk more about, say, HR, like talent acquisition, and these are 2 different areas. Do you have both or not? People in their career sometimes get comfortable into what they have done for a few years and are comfortable in the comfort zone. You go out of your comfort zone and have an experience which may be a different geography, which may be a different business, which may be a different function altogether. Can I move from HR to finance today? All those things are there. The fourth important part is network, mentoring, and sponsorship. Again, we'll talk more about it, and all this entire work that we are doing is targeted towards giving a platform and opportunity to all of you for networking, mentoring, and sponsorship. So that would be there. And the last part, I would say, which is again extremely important, is defining your own path. Don't get stuck into my team member is doing that, my colleague from my college days is doing that, someone else is doing something. I see their LinkedIn post or I see their Facebook post. Define your own path and what you want to do and what does success mean for you. So these 5 elements, if they come together, we believe would help you shape your career in the way you want. If we move to the next slide, talking about continuous performance first. It's not moved. The common myth that we always have is my performance is good enough. I performed or I delivered last year. But you know what? At each instance, the game keeps on changing. If I was successful, I come from UP. If I was successful when I was in UP, maybe I was a champion in UP, best student or whatever I was doing there. As I reached India level, the game changed. I had to still perform at a different level altogether. When you went international into some geography, you have to perform at a different level. And now at a global stage, the standards are very different. So the slide just shows that you may be very good in the surrounding area, or you may be a star in your society, in your area. But if you are playing at a global level, the standards are very different. And these standards keep on changing. We recently had Olympics where India did pretty well, but all of you know, every time or through the year, the world records keep on breaking. And that's the continuous, improvement that happens. So you have to be on that journey. You cannot rest on your laurels to say, hey, I performed very well last year. I got a very good rating last year. good, you got a good rating, you got an increment based on that. But if you really need to continuously improve your career, you have to deliver this year also, right? So that's the message to say continuous performance is extremely important. Next slide, Preeti. The second thing is, second myth I would say around skills and capability. I'm an expert in my domain, and I wanted to say two things here. And both these are pictures from some report from World Economic Forum. First, on the left, the picture just tells you how the world is changing. The jobs that we all thought when we were growing up, when I was growing up, I was in school, college, the jobs that I wanted to do in my area are no longer existing. I'm sure the jobs would change further in next 5 years. We are now looking at use of a lot of AI, artificial intelligence, and lots of other technical tools into it. So therefore, if you think you are an expert, you may be outdated. Kotak comes to mind as an organization which was an organization which used to be known for photography, and all of us remember Kotak Movement is the name of a good picture. But they failed to change. They failed to change towards a digital scenario where now Kodak as a company is gone. Your people don't even buy cameras anymore, apart from few who want high-end cameras. People, mobile phone has just taken over. The photographs that we take on mobile phones are far better than what we used to take with our cameras, Kodak cameras, long back. So if you don't change, if you don't improve your expertise, even on the technical front, you would be probably out of the job market. So you have to continuously see what are the new trends and continuously invest in that, in whichever area you are in. And the second part of it, which is on the right side, the picture, my earlier point, soft skills are much more important than what is technical skill, because technical skill you can learn and it would keep on changing. The key skills that everyone is saying are the five most important skills for 2025, and I'm sure they'll remain similar in 2030, are critical thinking, analysis, problem solving, self-management, and active listening. If you are master of these skills, you can learn any other technical skill on top of it, if you have these. So therefore, invest in your soft skill, invest in your critical thinking, invest in being a problem solver, versus saying, I know this particular language. When I was again in school, college, I remember coding, doing some coding in C++. I don't even think that language is available these days. I don't even know what latest language is there, since that's not the area that I work in. But these things keep on changing, and therefore, what are the basic skills? What are the basic capability that you are developing? Focus on that and keep on upgrading yourself. If we move to the third slide, fourth, I think. Now again, experiences. A lot of people tell me that, hey, I was okay in experimenting with few things early on in my career, and thereafter I just want to stick into one area and make my career into that. Again, you may be deciding that, like I have decided, I'm still in HR and I'll stay in HR. But within HR, HR and different things that are there may be experiences that you may want to gain. For instance, geographical experience is different, or within HR itself, there are many areas, and over a period of 15 to 17 years, I can say that I have tried and experimented with most areas of HR, because those experiences is what makes you well-rounded. That experience helps you build your career in a healthy way. Like when you go to gym, you exercise different parts of your body. If you just exercise one part of your body, that particular part, like abs, would be very strong, but you would not have a healthy body. Similarly, I would say to build a healthy career and a long career, you need to have as many experiences as you can, and always look out for new experience, different experience, Now, these different experiences, like I said, can be in different businesses, business verticals of your organization, different teams, different geographies, different aspects of which function you are in, or even different functions. If you get an opportunity, can you experiment? As per career, I have not gone into different functions, but with special projects and stuff, I've always tried to get into two functions, which like finance and marketing, which are something that I think is essential in these times for everyone. Even in my HR job, I need to make sure my numbers are making sense. I'm providing return on investment to the organization on any intervention I create, and I need to market my interventions to internal employee. So therefore, those are two functions that I always try to stay close with or try to get a project to work on, which helps me not only get that experience, but also helps me in my own profession or in my own career. So again, experiences are extremely important, and I cannot stress upon the importance of having different exposure, different experiences. Next slide. Preeti, can we have the next slide? Another myth is that I don't need help or advice. And again, I've taken a picture of Eklavya. All of you know the story. He learned his art and skill by having a statue of his guru. And thereafter, even though he was a better he had better skill set than Arjun, is what the story says. He had to give away his thumb, and the Arjun therefore became the number one in that particular area. Now, why was that happening? You need human connection. You need people who are your sponsors. Dronacharya was clearly a sponsor for Arjun and not for Eklavya. Now, obviously, that story is told as something that Dronacharya did negatively. But if you think about it, that's human beings, and that's how world operates. You need sponsors, you need mentors, you need network of people who can help grow your career. If you are just very, very good and you have no network, believe me, you will get lesser opportunities than someone who's more networked and maybe just 19 to you in capability. Again, on the right, you can see mentoring or sponsorship. These are very, very similar concepts. They can help you in multiple ways, and that's why this Jito forum, professional forum, is so important and so valuable for all of you to leverage and use. But again, you need to ensure that you create a set of mentors for yourself, sponsors for yourself. These are people who would go and vouch for you. These are people who would open doors for you. Your network would help you understand what kind of opportunity is available in the marketplace. And again, cannot stress how important it is. Even within an organization, even though there are systems which should understand each employee and know, but I can tell you last 4 jobs that I've got within PepsiCo is because of networks or because of my sponsors or mentors who watched out for me and who said in some meeting, hey, this job is coming, Sachin is the right person and maybe he can do it, let's go and talk to him. Otherwise, there is so much, so many people in the organization, so much talent in the organization that you may get some opportunity or you may not get opportunity, and therefore these are important networks or important relationships that you have to invest in. Now, these relationships do not happen. Only, just joining a forum. If you have the need of networking, if you have the need of creating mentors, if you have the need of creating sponsors, it's your responsibility to invest in it. All right. You have to constantly invest in it. You have to constantly build that relationship. You have to constantly find moments, projects, times when you work, interact with those people. And it's on you to kind of reach out to mentors or sponsors to build that relationship. It's on you because you would get benefited out of it at the right moment. I think the right time, like people say, the right time to plant a tree is today. I think the right time to start networking is today. If you start networking today, you may get benefit 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line. So there is absolutely nothing more important than you can do rather than starting to create your own network. Next slide, Preeti. This is I think my last slide, which goes to the fifth principle: define your own path. Sometimes people don't spend enough time and they look at social media, or they look at what others or colleagues or batchmates are doing and say, hey, this is how his or her career is taking shape, and this is how I want to do it, because that's what everyone sees. But one thing I wanted to tell you is that what you see for other people is success. What you see is the outcome. You see this person has this job at this point in time, and this is what the person is doing, and the person is so successful. What goes unnoticed, and what the person also does not tell you, or is unnoticed, very few close friends or close colleagues may know, is the kind of effort the person did to get to there. And apart from persistence, dedication, hard work, discipline, all these things are part of life. Like those things, I think also come in the continuous performance part. But the other things which are mentioned on the picture, which is failure, how to handle failure, what sacrifices you make, and what disappointments you handle, those three things are things that you need to talk to yourself to say that, are you ready to make that sacrifice? Are you ready to handle disappointment if you are going for a big role? The easiest way of handling or taking care of disappointment is not just to apply for that role. So in my career, I have applied for many roles and many times got rejected. And if after first rejection, I said, oh, this is not something that I can handle, then you will stop applying, or you will stop, vying for that kind of a opportunity. And that's it. If that's what it means for you, then good. You will be happy and satisfied. But if you really want to achieve something, then you have to make sure that you handle disappointment and failures in the right way. And you also make sacrifice. In COVID times, all of us have realized that family is important, being close to family is important. And these times, I enjoy my role, but I also make a sacrifice that I don't go and meet my family at this point in time. I've not traveled to India for the last couple of years because of COVID. And that's a sacrifice that I'm making, right? So each one of us in our careers, if you ask anyone, would have made sacrifices at different points in time. You have to be sure about, are you willing to make that sacrifice? Because otherwise you may get to that position or that role, but you may not be happy or satisfied. And therefore, the last thing I would say is, career is not linear. It's not about, hey, I have to grow, I have to get promoted every year or whatever frequency. It's an adventure, and it may not be linear. Sometimes you may be moving laterally, sometimes you may be moving on a pay cut. But if it is helping you to reach where you want to go, and you have defined what is success for you as an individual, then it is all part of the journey, and it's good. It's not that at every stage of your career, you need to look for growth in terms of promotion, more money. There are times where you take a detour to get a new experience, to get something different, to ensure that you have that full-fledged understanding and you're reaching where you want to go. So those are my thoughts on how to build a career. Last couple of slides broadly on how to think about career, but earlier on how to think about your career within an organization. What are the kind of things that help you grow? With that, I'll put it back to Preeti.
Thank you, Sachinji, for such an insightful session, and of course, some fantastic stories, very, very relatable. I think the Eklavya one was something that I could relate really well. Thank you so much. So just a reminder, in case you haven't been putting any questions in the chat box, please keep doing so. We'll have them answered during the session, or post the session anyway, because the Level Up series aims to cover the basic tenets of modern professional world. With that, now I would like to invite Mr. Sanyog Jain who is a core member of Jito Mentorship Program and founder, principal consultant at Frontline Consulting, to give us an introduction of Jito Mentorship Program and how to become a part of it. Over to you, Sanyog sir.
Thank you, Preeti ji, and good evening to you and to all our participants. Thank you for allowing me to share with our audience the structure of the Jito Mentorship Program and how people from our community can take advantage of this platform. I recall from one of the presentation of Prashant ji when he said, it doesn't matter where you are on the planet, if you are from the community, you can actually get mentorship through the programs with Jito offers. Before we go any, it is truly, the Jito Mentorship Program truly is an idea which has no boundaries. And by now we have actually, many mentees have taken advantage of the program, and it'll be really nice if we can see what their experience was with the mentorship program. So Sushma ji, if you could play the video now, I'll just stop sharing.
Yes, please.
First of all, thank Jito for taking out this amazing initiative of mentor-mentee relationship.
My name is Ashwin Chopra. I am a practicing chartered accountant. My mentor was Mr. Vishal Jain, who is the CFO of American Express.
Hello everyone. It was great talking to Mr. Rahul Bothra, CFO of Swiggy.
Hi, this is Akriti Jain and I am a young professional. I have been part of Jito's mentorship program.
Hello, this is Siddharth Jain here, a member of Jito community. I had my mentoring session with Vishal Jain sir, who is currently working as MD at Accenture. The one-to-one personal discussion with him was very fruitful in both professional and personal terms.
Myself Rakesh Jain from Jito, Gandhidham. Would like to convey thanks to Mr. Shubh Jain and Jito team for arranging such a wonderful mentorship program.
I am Rahul Bandi and I am here to share my experience about the mentorship session I had with Mr. Prashant Jain from G.
The experience with Jito mentorship program was very amazing. My mentor was Mr. Piyush Doshi.
I want to thank you, Jito, for organizing such a great session
where you can have a one-to-one session with your mentors and seek their guidance. I was guided in terms of the different career paths which could be available going forward,
and how I can use my strengths in a better way.
Basically, my queries were regarding transition in the career, how to upscale from the level of mid-management to the top management.
I also got some clarifications on the bottlenecks I'm facing in my business consultancy firm.
Sonal ma'am helped me with all my questions regarding professional life and also career growth.
I have learned some basic important things what to be doing personality and how a personality plays a very important role in growing our career.
I would like to thank Mr. Prashant Jain for taking out his time and giving me knowledge and insight to take my career further.
This mentorship program by Jito is an amazing platform where you get to connect with such amazing personalities. I am looking forward to have more such sessions. Thank you, Jito.
Thank you, mentorship program, the entire team behind it.
I would strongly recommend all of you to have such sessions with your mentors. Thank you.
Okay, Sushma, I'm going to share my screen now. The quote on the screen really explains mentoring in a very nice way. But I would like to share with you another quote. If you're looking how to do something, you can check on Google. But if you cannot see where you're going, ask someone who has been there before. It is said by J. Lorraine Norris. As far as our mentors are concerned, they have been there where you aspire to go. In a world of information overload, deafening noise, you get a great chance to interact with a sage voice. Using the mentorship platform, you can get one-to-one access to senior accomplished Gen professionals from all over the world. You can utilize this platform to ask questions. It could be a very basic question, such as, should I do a CA or a CPA? It could be a question around, should I continue my job or quit my job? Should I transition to a startup or to an investment bank? I'm a women professional. How do I break the glass ceiling? Your profile could be that of a student, a young professional, mid to senior level leader, a professional service provider, or even a business person who aspires to build a world-class enterprise. There are many mentorship categories, and we are adding more every day, from leadership to marketing to international business, from career growth to career transition, from product management to artificial intelligence, machine learning and analytics, from womenpreneurship to entrepreneurship. Now, how will Jito Mentorship Program be really executed? If you have a limited agenda to discuss, you can get a single meeting with a mentor. We call it flash mentoring. If there are several people who have the same issues, we can arrange a group mentoring session. If you are interested in personal development and growth, we can create a mastermind session where you meet the mentor as a group periodically. All your discussions with the mentor are confidential and no information is shared outside. Now, we have onboarded 36 mentors and we are grateful to them to have agreed to give their time. These 36 leaders represent the highest echelon of the corporate world. They bring a combined experience of more than 1,000 years. There is no issue which they have not seen or experienced. Our goal is to include 100 Gen business leaders to this platform. All our mentors value giving back to the community. The link to the profile has been pasted in the chat box, so I will not cover each person's background. In this slide, you are seeing mentors who have expertise in the field of media, AI, ML, product management, power sector, operations, legal, capital markets, and digital marketing and personal branding. You had heard from Prashantji up front. Both Piyushji and Pankajji were part of our last Level Up series, and Monikaji is part of today's panel. If your interest lies in the fields of academia, social media, strategic sourcing, payment, gateway, consulting, product management, supply chain, etc., or you plan to build a large-scale enterprise, we have mentors who have deep experience in these areas. From this particular slide, last time we met Varunji. He spoke at our first Level Up series. Vishalji is on the panel for the current Level Up series. On this particular slide, if you want guidance in retail, in talent management, in investment banking, high-tech sector, consumer services, legal fields, we have senior and very accomplished mentors representing those areas. Today, Sachinji is present on the panel. And by the way, our members speak on various Jito forums too. Mentors showcased on this slide can guide you in the areas of wholesale banking, consulting, academia, asset management, capital market, and how new age companies operate, and in sunrise sectors like healthcare. I can say with complete confidence that the business universe is very well represented here. I would also like to remind everyone to not to get concerned with questions such as, how do I speak with such senior people? They are all part of Jain Samaj. They are here to share their perspective. They also got benefited from others, so they are all very well grounded. When we mentor, both the mentor as well as the mentee benefit. So how have we done so far? I mentioned to you that we have 36 mentors who are on board. And so far, we have onboarded 142 mentees. We have completed 81 mentee sessions. And the work experience of our mentees is quite varied. What we are also seeing in a very encouraging way that more and more women are coming up to get the mentorship. Now, each month, we provide a Level Up series like the one that you are seeing today. And the topics for the next 3 Level Up series are given on the slide. I would also encourage you to write if there is any particular topic that you would want us to cover in the Level Up series, please put your suggestions. We are open to receiving your suggestions. By the way, the recording of both the sessions, which we have already done, is available on the YouTube, and there is a link to it in your chat box. Now, here is our core team members. On the right-hand side, we have our Jito Apex members, Ajayji, Prashantji, and Milanji. As far as our convener of this particular program is concerned, it is Mr. Vishal Jain. Nipunji is our co-convener. And then we have other team members, Sushma Bantia, Jalad Jain, Ms. Preeti Jain, you heard from her, she is emceeing the program, and Shubh Jain, he coordinates and he's the program manager of this particular program. Here is some information for you how to join the program. We are also pasting this in the chat box so that you can, click on it at your convenience. And if you want to join the program, there's a link there for any questions or for receiving updates. There's an email ID there. And if you want any clarification, you could either speak to Shubh Jain or to myself. So with that, I would like to hand over back to you, Preeti. Take it from here.
Sure. Thank you, Sanyog, sir. I'm sure our audience members were quite curious to know about Jito mentorship program. And now we'll have Mr. Vishal Jain and Ms. Monica Priggle joining us for the Q&A. Mr. Vishal Jain, convener, Jito mentorship program in MD, Finance and Strategy at Accenture, has over 20 years of experience in the domain of financial planning, investment management, strategy, analytics, and transformation. He has previously worked with American Express, Pricewaterhouse, Ballarpur Industries, iBuild Technologies, and Polyplex. A CA, CPA, CS, Six Sigma Black Belt, and an alumnus of FMS Delhi, he is also the co-founder of GenIn, a platform that is centered around Genism insights for the modern world. Ms. Monica Priggle, Director Legal at Laws India. She's a seasoned strategic attorney, board member, and company secretary with over 15 plus years of experience in handling legal, secretarial, and compliance functions at Laws, Goldman Sachs, PwC, Subex, and as an independent law practitioner. She's an alumnus of LLB, ICSA UK, and PG from IPR NLU. So let's get started. We now have Sachinji, we have Vishalji, and Ms. Monica. Let me ask my first question to Vishal, sir. All right. So how can one ensure career longevity by staying relevant, competitive, and marketable in this ever-changing world, Vishal, sir?
Hi, Jajinint, everyone. So I think I will use a quote, and that relates to the poll we did initially. I think less opportunities came out as one of the very big themes, right? And the quote is that the success is when the opportunities meet preparation, and failure is when fantasy meets reality, right? So I cannot stress enough about that there are enough opportunities in the world. World is our stage. We need not to be limited by where we are, what we have done. In fact, in our religion, when we think about deeply spiritually, it is about abundance. So first limiting point, I believe, is our mindset or our mind that, hey, I have not done this. How do I do? I'm from this town, or I've only done this. And often this can also give an excuse. So here is a mind-giving excuse to keep me away from the hard work. See, let's get that very real, that we all should spend about 5% of our time to build our career, our CV, at least 5%, if not more, right? A businessman will spend much more time. But often what happens is this, and I believe truly and passionately about that, these are excuses. Even I have been subjected to that, I wouldn't deny. So often these are excuses. So as I speak today, in fact, if you read today Economic Times, every IT company in India, they are really going massive hiring. In my role in Accenture, my 80% energy and my weekend is going in hiring, because we have to hire, like I have to hire in my direct team about 800 to 1,000 people in next 6 months. The job openings are all-time high because there's a pent-up demand. And again, I may be giving a one view about IT organizations, tech organizations. There could be business or industries, manufacturing, that they are coming out of pandemic. But as you see the news, everywhere the production output is pre-pandemic stage. India is really growing and things are getting better. So my one central point I would just reiterate is that let your mind not give you excuse about opportunities. Let us focus on preparedness. As we say, first you deserve, then you desire. And again, that is a point around continuous ongoing learning. When we learn always, we will be confident. And when we believe in the core theory of karma, that I'm doing my karma, the results will come. They will eventually come. So that will be my point. They can always be pointed around, get this skill. The skills could change. Again, to Sachin's point, probably more and more the softer skills are becoming more important. And I would add to that also the other thing which I spoke to Deepak Jain, who is Dean of Kellogg School of Business, on Thursday evening in some other context. And his point was that in the world, more and more the only differentiator will be your competitive advantage will be your value system, the core ethos, core basic hygiene, gratitude, humility. They will be really outshining you. So again, and this is my own experience, where I got too subjected about, hey, what would I do? There's not growth and all. I felt like I felt myself low. I did not put in enough efforts. But moment I'm controlling what I can, focusing on what I control, then I know world is my stage and things open up, things change as well. That's what I would say, Preeti.
Thank you, Vishal, so much. All right. Moving on to my next question, and this is for you, Sachin. So my friends are becoming more successful than me. Everybody else is moving ahead in life except me again. So how can we stop running others' races?
Yeah, I think this goes back to what Vishal was saying. It's about your mindset. The sooner that we realize, the better it is that everyone has their own destiny, everyone has their own path, and no two people can have the same path. And therefore, we have to choose a path which is right for us, which gives pleasure to us, satisfaction to us. One thing, I would say is stop looking at Facebook, stop looking at LinkedIn, because there you see the post of people only on holidays. If you just look at Facebook, you would think everyone is just holidaying all the time, right? So people, when they showcase to others, they always showcase their success or their happy moments. Behind every happy moment, there is 10 moments where they were struggling, or they were making an effort, or they were, challenged in their own head. And therefore, one, to realize that everyone goes through the same journey. Each one of us on this panel, I'm sure, if we wanted to have a session on my failures, I can talk for 3 hours non-stop. And then also there would be a list of failures that I'll have. So I'm sure all of us have our failures. All of us have our challenges. So one thing is to notice or realize that everyone has that, and therefore not compare or not get demotivated or get into a shell because of that. And second thing, within an organization, I use this framework for defining what I want to do. I have this 3 L's that I call it. First one is level. If I'm going for a role, if I'm applying for a role, am I getting a level? Level in PepsiCo language is promotion. Am I getting a promotion or not? The second is location. Is the location convenient enough? There were roles which I refused because I could not go to that particular location. So location is something that I would like to live, and it's just not me, my family. Would my kids have the right education my family would be comfortable living. So that's second L. And the third L is learning in my mind. Would I learn? Would I add on to my experience with that role? And I say to people that when you really want to change, make a role change, if you will be lucky if you will get all the three. No one gets it. Like I have never got, maybe once in my career I have got all the three together, but otherwise you never get the three together. So make a choice. And I have, 60% of the time I have gone for a role where I was getting only one of these. And 40% of the time I've gone for roles where I was getting two of these three. So therefore, that's the framework I use to define my own path. Like I said, realize that your path would be different than others. Your path is your path and no one else's path. What you want on these three L's would be very different from anyone else. It's your life, your family, your success that you define. And then have a framework to say, this is how I'll define, or this is how I'll choose which role to go for or which role not to go for. Because somebody else would, so the role that I refused, like I said, it was a role in Jeddah. I did not want to move to Jeddah at that point in time because of some family reasons, or I did not want to move out of India at that point in time because of some family reasons. So I refused that role, and someone else took that role. Now, should I be worried about that? Should I keep on thinking, oh, what happened? And like that person's career obviously moved in a different direction than mine. Should I be worried about that? No, I made a choice. I made a choice based on a framework that I have, and I'm comfortable with it. Whether that role moves faster or slower than me, or that person's career moves faster and slower than me, it's based on my choice. So every choice has a consequence. And at the end, I would say career is a marathon. In some 100 meter, you will be ahead. In some other 100 meter, someone else would be ahead. It does not matter. Till the time you know what you are gunning for, and till the time you are doing the right thing, you'll reach, all of us reach the same level at the end of the day. Finally, 17 years in PepsiCo, all my batchmates, whether they moved faster or slower, all of us are at similar position. Someone is 19, someone is 20, someone is 21. It does not matter. So momentary, someone may be ahead of you, momentary, someone may be behind you. Never let, when you are ahead, never let that go to your head. And when you are behind, never let that go to your heart, because you have to take heart in those times. So that's what I would say.
No, thank you so much, Sachin. I think very, very insightful. Absolutely, the element of individualism. Not the two careers are exactly same. So true, and the three L's, of course. Great. So my third question, moving to you, Monica ma'am. What are some of the career pitfalls that one should avoid?
Thank you, Preeti, for the question, and Jai Jinendra, everyone. Taking this question, I'll go back to what Sachin just mentioned, right? Everybody's decision for the career is different, right? No two careers are same. So I would say that, to avoid any career pitfall, firstly, you should not allow somebody else to decide your career. Your circumstances are unique, your requirements are unique, your ultimate goal may be very unique. So like in Sachin's example, if you would have spoken with someone, they would have said, oh, Jeddah is a great place, you should move and all of that. But ultimately, when you take that decision based on somebody else's advice and you have not thought through it completely, then you have to live with those decisions and the implications of those decisions. So I would say, to avoid any pitfall, make a conscious call and take control of your career. Take your own decisions on the career. The other thing is, like again, Sachin mentioned in one of his slides, there are some jobs which won't even exist in the future. But for the jobs that you are in, always stay relevant. Don't become obsolete. You have to pick up the skills that is required, not just for your current role, but also for your future role. Because, your role or the job that you have today is not something that will last forever. What is relevant today may not be relevant tomorrow. Like, I'll give you my example. I am a lawyer and a company secretary. I can do all of that like pretty, with a lot of ease. But there are a lot of changing landscape in the legal field. On the labor side, a lot of things are changing in India. On the data privacy side, there's a lot of, rigor around having a new data privacy law. So keeping ahead of it and preparing for it, reading about it, even before it comes into play, is something that will keep you relevant, and that is what you should do to not face a situation where you are in front of the new legislation and then your management thinks you're not able to handle it. That could be a potential career pitfall. So being updated with whatever is happening in your respective areas. What I personally also feel is, to have a very successful and like a marathon kind of a career, you should not be jumping jobs very often. Like initially when you start your career, I understand freshers, they are looking out for a new job every year. But I have seen some people who have who have been my batchmates, but have been jumping jobs every 12 months or 13 months just because they were getting like a new opportunity, or plainly because they were getting, a better package. That in the short run may look very lucrative because, you are going really up in your pay package. But what you need to understand is, if you reach a very high pay package with very low experience, after some time you're not marketable because people are not going to touch you. Like with 5 years of experience, if you're drawing like a salary which is for 10 years old, people will not touch you because you become not affordable. Plus, you don't have the relevant experience. So don't jump jobs very frequently. Stay modest if the place is allowing you to learn, especially in your initial part of the career. I think learning has to become a larger priority than the level or the pay package. So if the opportunity is allowing you to learn, then stick to those jobs for a little longer than you would want to, so that you have ample experience. And ultimately, after 15 years, when you're looking at your career, it should not look like, oh my God, this person is not reliable. They don't have a committed career because they are jumping jobs every 12 months. So when you are showing that you have stayed with a company for 3 years, and then your next job is like for 4 years, and the next job is for 6 years, it shows that as you're growing in your career, you have a lot of maturity and you are invested and committed to a job. That makes your marketability better, and it also avoids any opportunity that you would otherwise miss. So that is something that I would say. And I think Sachin already spoke about why switching jobs should not be like the end of the world. It's okay to switch jobs when you have the right opportunity. Do that, because maybe that's the best thing for your career, and you don't have like a mind block that I can't shift the fields after a certain years of my career. Lastly, I would say, especially as a woman, many a times, we all agree whether we all know whether we want to agree or not, there is a glass ceiling, and you have to work a little extra harder to break the glass ceiling, especially when you're in a woman. You want to be in that leadership role and you want to have that seat at the table. Nobody is going to come to me and say, Monica, I want you there, right? I have to put my hand up, for which there are few things that I want to do, that I have to do. We are on this platform, which is a mentority platform. Please don't shy away from having mentors, because they will guide you in this path, something that you would miss because you're not in the room at all. You don't know what is happening in the room. So a mentor who will actually give his or her experience and get you to that dream job maybe one step ahead. So have a mentor at all points in time. It can be formal, informal. It can be internal or external. So that mentor will help you to break the glass ceiling and continue to network. Networking is extremely important. And the third thing is dress professionally, right? Dress for the next job that you want to be. So, you are an analyst and you feel like, nobody is watching you, and you just like, shabbily dressed and you're turning up in office. You may be great at your job, but your soft skills are equally important. The way you are, you appear. I'm not saying you have to wear the most expensive brands, but be like, presentable. I'll give you an example. Every time there is any program in my office where I have to even do an introduction of the program, or I'm an invitee, or I'm a panelist, or I'm conducting the board meeting. See, when you're conducting the board meeting, you're just the company secretary. You are, when I was not the director on the board, you're just a company secretary. But I would always be like extremely well dressed for these occasions, because I know at least 2,000 people are looking at me. So I'm well dressed for that. And, one day somebody walked up to me and they said, "Oh, you're so dressed up today. What's the occasion?" And there is no occasion. You are the occasion. If you feel that you have to be on the stage and you are, also opening the program, and you want to be looked in a certain way, you want people to look at you in a certain way, that is the occasion. So don't wait for the occasion that, it has to be a wedding or it has to be like, your promotion day or something. Every day actually counts. So these are some things that you could do. Probably that's in my experience. I wanted to pass it on to, avoid any career pitfalls.
No, absolutely amazing thoughts, Monica ma'am. Very, very relatable, I guess. And a lot of studies that we generally do from Harvard, and these online courses, there are various case studies even, around these lines. Some senior person has been coming out of the meeting and the discussion happened, some heated arguments happened, and she's been sort of running on the floor. So I'm just sharing one example. And suddenly her leader noticed something has happened in the conference room, and she's been seen running on the floor and sitting on her desk doing something about it. Then she later comes back to her and said, what happened in the meeting room, etc. So she said, obviously the discussion didn't go well in the direction I wanted, and so I wasn't happy about it. So I came out of the room, and I just came back on my seat and started to work. So she said, but you know what? Whatever happened in the conference room is right. But the gesture when you were actually coming out of the room and you weren't running on the floor, it isn't about the level, or it isn't about how senior or junior you are, but actually the entire floor could make out that something didn't go right. So when you're putting the point around the dress, right? How should we really be dressing? And every day is an occasion. I think what we are doing and how we're wanting to present ourselves needs to be watched through every moment is equally important. Okay, thank you so much again. And coming back to you, Vishal sir, again. Next question is for you, is how to decide whether it's really time to quit the job or should I continue?
Yeah, so I think partly Monica covered, and in fact, I've gone through that experience myself recently. I was for a long time in American Express for 18 years. In my last role as CFO of Amex India, and I just switched to Accenture. So it's a different world. So I can give you both sides, why to continue and probably quit as well. So as Monica mentioned, and Piyush Doshi in our last session covered very nicely, that the number of years experience divided by the number of jobs you have, if the ratio is going lower than 3, right, or lower than 2, then it's a very, very big watch out, right? I think that's so you can do the math, right? And then you can decide accordingly. So, and what it does is that in my own experience, as I'm interviewing so many people, in fact, today I met 4 people, I can clearly make out that when people switch quickly, they lack depth. They lack depth. They can talk words, I did this, but the moment you probe them, they're not able to answer because they have just moved around. And typically it does take time, 9 months, 6-9 months to know the basics. Then you start shining, then you start delivering and you start reaping the benefits. So that cycle could be 2.5 years to 3 years. Again, it could vary, but this much time you must give to yourself to do justice, to best achieve what you want to achieve from that role. When to quit also is a point that when you figure out that are you learning, number one, to point the 3L what Sachin mentioned. How do you see your career 5-10 years down the line? Because are you coming into the comfort zone, right? And then are you being valued, respected, right? So that's where I think sometimes the comfort zone could really outweigh your decision. That everything is going fine, theek chal raha hai, why? A lot of people ask me that you're already doing so well. Preeti asked me as well, we were together in Amex. But somewhere I must tell you that the change brings so much of freshness. It really opens new doors. It opens up possibilities. So there is a merit for certainly changing and quitting to do something different to open new doors, as Sachin mentioned. At the same time, there is a merit for depth. I will keep one brief thing. I think we will not cover every aspect here. There's a book, nice, very simple book called Catalyst by Chandramouli Venkatesan. It's a very simple read. I highly recommend. It's a 200 rupees, simple read. In 3 hours, you can finish. I read that many often just to remind. And that's a very simple one for you to refer to. So Preeti, I was thinking that we might open for the live Q&A as well. May take, right? Will that be fine, Preeti, given the time in hand?
Sure. No, I think absolutely. Given the time we have in hand right now, we can open it up for the live Q&A. And I think Sushma ma'am has been kind enough to collate all the important questions for us that we are seeing coming through the chat box. So she'll be now moderating the panel, and over to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Amazing. And, most of these questions are also being answered in the chat box. So that's absolutely amazing here. Now, there are some questions which we've got, like Samyak is asking, freshers lack the requisite experience and exposure. How can a fresher attract good opportunities? So
I gave a perspective. I think maybe it's anyone, Sachin, Monica. I think Sushma, you take the.
Sure. I can take that. Sorry.
Sure, Monica.
Yeah, I can take that. So, I am a first generation lawyer. Not just a first generation lawyer, I'm a first generation professional across my family, mother side, father side, all sides. And till date, even despite I being in a job for 16 years, even despite so many years, gone by, there is no one in my family who's actually working and, in a corporate or does a full-time job. So to this question, when you're freshers, how do you get the right opportunity? I feel like, a consolidation of all the points which has already been made. One is work hard, work really, really hard, work harder than, someone that you're seeing around you. Because especially as a fresher and when you don't have mentors in the industry, when you don't have the connects, it's only your hard work that's going to speak. Of course, your marks speak for yourself. And, when you have a great academic background and also you are working hard, I think when people notice even one piece of your work, somewhere it can just land from one table to the other. That can really go a long way, and that can kickstart your career. The first break that you get really sets the tone of your career, and that is why, especially as CAs and CACS, LLBs, particularly where we do articleship becomes very important. And after the articleship, the first job that we take, don't take it for money, take it for the right opportunity and the right learning, because that can really set the stage for your career.
I think we could constantly keep coming back to this whole thing of learning, opportunity, look at your career, long-term vision versus short-term vision. And of course, I loved it when Sachin has been telling us, don't look at Facebook and LinkedIn and what everybody else is writing out there. Everybody's having a good time, but how did they get there? There's a lot of hard work and discipline towards this. What role does networking play? So Sachin would like to answer that. I think you did touch upon it, but how do I network?
Yeah.
I'm just 2 years in organization, 3 years in organization. What does networking really mean?
Yeah, very early on in my career, I was doing a learning role, which was handling learning programs for India as a geography for PepsiCo. And there we designed a program where we said, okay, what is this word called network? And we developed a very, very simple inventory where we said on an Excel sheet, and I can look through my documents, and if that's helpful, I can send that Excel sheet out to like Preeti to circulate to everyone. But what we asked people to do is on that Excel sheet or on that form, put out who's your network. And we asked questions. We said, okay, if you have a problem at work or a question at work, who are the people you can reach out to? Those are your network people at work. If your kid is to be suddenly picked up from school and you are stuck in a board meeting or an important meeting, or you are traveling, who can you call to pick up your kid? You'll not trust your kid with someone else, someone who you just have an acquaintance with. You really need to trust the person. So put out your network on that. So we had a set of questions, which I'm giving you 2 questions on both sides, work and life. But we had questions, 7, 8 of them, encompassing both your work and your life, which helped you understand what is the network of people you have. And, suddenly when you do that exercise, you realize that like on the family front, your network may be in your home city and not in where you are living. So you need to create that network. You need to invest in relationships in your society, in the place you are living, in the building you are living, to create that network. Similarly, at work, you would suddenly realize that, okay, I know some people. I can basically go and ask if I want to figure out if I'm in a new office and I want to figure out where is the washroom, I know who to ask. But if I really just have a very, very specific question, should I apply for this role? What is the capability required for this role? Do I have network of people who are senior enough in the organization who I can go and ask and they would help me understand, oh, this role is not for you, Sachin, because this role requires capability that you don't have, or I know you would not enjoy that role. Now, again, to Monica's point, listen to everyone and decide on your own. Never bank your decision based on what others say. Like, for instance, like the JEDA example I gave, a lot of people told me you should take that role. I did not. And before that, I actually had a role in Chennai. And in those times, a lot of people told me, why are you going to Chennai? Chennai was almost like, for North Indians, it was like a no-go area, right? My friends from my college called me and asked me, is this a punishment posting for you? But I was really interested in that experience. And I can tell you that was a career-changing role that I did in Chennai, because it gave me so much perspective. It helped me with so many other things that I really enjoyed. I still believe the best city to live in India is Chennai. After so many years. So again, decide on your own. But to the question back again, you have to figure out what is the network. And again, like I said, Chennai, when I reached Chennai, there is no network that I had. After that, I went to Dubai. Now I'm in New York. I had no network, neither at work, neither at in life or at home. So you have to constantly invest in network, and the best way to figure out what network you need is, I'm happy to send those questions out to everyone. Look at those questions and add on more questions for yourself. You may have more questions than what we designed at that point in time, but look at those questions and say, do you have someone who can help you in those situations? Do you have someone who you can go and ask for help in those situations? One thing when Vishal was talking to me early on when I was getting onboarded, one thing he told me is that this network of Jito helped all the members to get through this COVID. Again, luckily no one had a big challenge, but you just need someone to talk to. These were times which was very different. You just needed someone to talk to and say, hey, everyone is facing the same challenge. So there are different needs that you would have in life at different points in time, whether in your life or whether it's your work profile. Always look, do you have people for that or not? If you don't, then your network is weak. If you have people for that, then you're doing good in network, but you like health, network can never be the best. You can always invest in it.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful answer. And I'm sure lots of people, literally, are looking forward to that Excel sheet and all those questions. So please do share it, right? And it's, like you said, Chennai, right? Sometimes you just need to get out of your comfort zone and see how it takes you and all the challenges. So I'm going to request Pankaj Jain, he's had his hand up for some time, to just unmute himself and ask the question directly, please.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm unmuted, and my question is for Vishal and Sachin, and I'm happy whoever takes it. My question is, at times in our careers, and especially for ones who have a relatively senior experience, 15, 20 years, you might have a sudden change of events, like the boss who's hired you, you've got a great equation with him, he's moved on, there's a new guy in place and y'all don't gel along well. You might have a situation, the firm you're in, they may be shutting down their practice, and something like this which forces you to look for career options outside. Now, apart from your industry per se, let's say in consulting or advisory, we know who are the competing firms, and you could knock out to them. But apart from firms in your industry, how else can you look for opportunities and options? And what's the best way to network at the time?
So,
Yeah.
Vishal, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I can chime in. There's no straight answer. I think, first of all, that also reminds us that all of a sudden things could change, right? And all your sponsors, advocates, the organization has changed and you're starting from scratch, right? And that's where I think the one key part is that it's a recurring investment. So you repair the roof when the sun is still shining, right? So the time to start is now, so that you are already very confident about your broader network is one thing. I can tell you, Pankajji, from my own example, this journey with Jito last 8-9 months. In a normal course, I would be talking to somebody with banking experience, or in American Express. My network would be limited primarily to that. Now here, whether as a part of the program or whether otherwise, now I'm talking to people even from a business background. Now they may not have anything in common. I may not have anything in common with Monica here, but it is very comforting. It gives a lot of backing that when something happens, I don't need to be married to one organization or one leader or one role. I know I will figure it out. So I think unconsciously, this gives a lot of backing and confidence, and it boosts our morale even in the office affair, because then you're not like subjected to whatever is not right. You are able to speak your mind. So that's my just personal experience. As far as figuring out different things is a function of when you meet other people, then you realize that, by the way, you have a skill which can be relevant for them. And I can tell you from my own experience, after working in Amex for 18 years, I felt like my experience was BFSI, banking, as a CFO. Now in Jito, it really opened up my eyes that, by the way, I can do many different things. Like Jito Incubation Fund allowed me to meet a lot of startups. In a normal course, I would not be in that conversation. And even if I will not start anything right now, but it gives me a very different perspective, and it expanded my network. And likewise, joining Accenture, it really opened a different industry for me. But all that decision was a part of having that confidence to take that courageous call, right? And that courageous call comes when you have a strong backing of your support system and your own confidence about your learning and your own work on your skills on a constant basis. So again, nobody's a preacher here. We all go through that self-doubt, question, but that's my reflection. But Sachin, happy if you can chime in, or Monica.
Yeah, I think you said it all, Vishal. I would just add on one more thing to it, one more tip to it. The best people who know the industry are some of these senior search consultants. And I would say maintain a relationship with them. Like Vishal said, not when it's raining, but when it's sun is shining. Maintain a relationship with them, talk to them, network with them. They may help you understand some of the questions that you're asking. Where are my skills useful, or what kind of opportunities are there? So that's another area that I personally am very weak at. I have not nurtured that kind of a network myself of search consultants, but I'm now trying to do that just to ensure that you know what's happening in the industry, right? You understand what's happening, what are the kind of opportunities, where your skill set is easily usable, like Vishal said.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Vishal.
Sure.
And Monica, can we just have you give a quick answer?
Quite useful, Sachin. Thanks very much. Yeah.
So, and Pankaj, to that question, one is, things are changing and you can't help if you're having a new boss, or if, things are changing in your vertical. But I would like to, call out my story. So I've been in Lowe's for 6 years and I've had 5 MDs. So I report to the MD in the organization, but I've had 5 different MDs in 6 years. What I personally practice is, the moment there is a new manager, what I do is I use my network to understand how that person is, what are the things that work with his personality and what does not. So I am aware of, where not to kind of, rub him or her on the wrong side, because we know that certain areas, they respond in a certain way. So again, your network comes into play. The other thing is, I make my immediately when I have a new manager, my 3 months short-term goal is to do the change management. I invest extra effort in ensuring that I onboard the new MD with the work that I have done, and not allowing him or her to think, okay, I don't know what is happening, because no MD is a legal person. So for you to make them understand what are you doing as a lawyer or as a general counsel of the organization, I make sure that I have a change management plan. I am having regular catch-ups with him or her, telling them what we have done, what is not being done, so that you're building that confidence. And then they become your sponsor after 3-4 months to say, okay, this is the right person in the role. Also talking about my own my experience at Lowe specifically, I joined at a very junior level, but over a period of 6 years, I have become a senior director, which is the topmost role under the MD. Every other senior director in the organization, about 26 of them, they are all external hires. Every time there's a new MD, there's a new person who's hired from outside. Mine is the only role where I have stayed in, and I have continuously grown irrespective of my leaders. So I feel like there is also there are a lot of things which are in your control. Instead of saying, that guy does not like me, what are we doing for that guy to like you? What are we doing to ensure that, he or she understands where we are? Because after a particular time, when you are very senior in your role, like 16 to 18 years of experience, job switch or field switch also does not come very easy, because while an organization in my field may require 10 lawyers, but they need only 1 GC, so my role is only 1. So for me to ensure that I am not run out of choices within the organization, rather I make the choice when I have to make, that is something that we could probably focus on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And what we'll do, as we had mentioned, that Preeti had mentioned, is that we will continue to stay on, but we would like to formally close this program right now, right? So I would request Nipun, please do your formal vote of thanks. And in the meantime, there is a link to capture your feedback about this session. If you would just click on the link in the chat box and fill up a few words of how did you find today's session. Thank you so much. Nipunji, over to you.
Ji, the link is giving the earlier screen. I think it is still giving the biggest challenge.
Okay, now are we getting the correct one, please?
Yeah, now
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Yeah, correct one now. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, everyone. सभी को 10 लक्षण पर्व की बहुत शुभकामनाएं. On Jito behalf, we would like to thank all the joining this session. We are looking forward to meeting you all in the following month. As Yogji already stated, Jito membership program has a lot of such upcoming initiatives, and we encourage all young Jito professionals to join this program. Regarding today's session, it would not have been possible without Sachinji's support and commitment to the mentorship. I would like to thank Jito Apex leadership for in such a fruitful event. And I would also like to thank the entire core team of the mentorship program, working committee for working tirelessly and in order to make the JMP a reality. Ms. Susma Bhantia was kind enough to help with moderating today's session. And the whole team, I am very thankful to all of them. Please stay safe. Enjoy Pariksha Parv. We hope to see you soon again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're back.